We are going to play a bullet brawl, as I said, starting now with openings of relevance and hopefully even some analysis to establish more important takeaways. So I got a lot of challenges here, a lot of people coming at me via Twitter. I appreciate everybody tweeting their username. We got FREI. I don't know how to pronounce that. We got Epic Dylan. Epic Dylan, you were one of the first. Oh, wait, there's Fry. Let's take on Fry. Thanks for following me on Twitter, buddy. And thanks for letting us know your username. Let me make sure that the capture is holding up. Screen looks good. Everything looks good. So I play D4 and E4. The Verisov is actually an opening I play that is not necessarily against the rule of playing openings that are strategically sound. But for right now, I'm going to play E4. I'm going to stick with kind of my advice, and we're going to play a Sicilian here. And he's playing fast. So let's see. So we'll play a Yugoslav attack. This is what we would normally play. Traditionally I would play both castles long or bishop c4, but I'll play castles long as I do believe it is the most principled approach for white. And we'll see how he handles mainline theory. He seems like a pretty good player. Bishop takes d4, not the most common, and now white gets a positional edge on the c5 square. That's kind of the whole idea. You back that thing up, you put the pony on c5, and you have a positional grind. And that's the hope of how you're going to play the position, is be better positionally. So now he's already a little bit worse. He's probably going to lose that e5 pawn because knight c3 was kind of a wasted tempo. Now he's playing fast, though, so we give him credit for that, and it is bullet, so it'll probably pay off if I don't pull myself together here. I'm going to bring the rook over to the d file and try to meet rook to e3 with rook to d3. Interesting. Okay, I'll try to keep the pawns on the dark squares. Defend it. Now I need to go after that f-pawn ASAP. He's going to play rook e2, but I'm going to play knight to d3 and guard it via the pin there. I'll take with the rook, and I can even trade because that king and pawn ending is indeed lost for him. It is indeed a lost king and pawn ending. So we make move. We don't want to run out of time because of our silly mouse situation, but this is a lost king and pawn ending. Easiest way to do it is just going to be a play of 5. It would be lost even if I wasn't quite able to establish this sort of, like where I'm going to get checkmate. It's not stalemate. He wishes it was. He wishes it was. But I don't want to, let's see. I don't want to, I didn't want to checkmate him. I mean, I was worried about stalemate. There's tricks sometimes when you get in these corners where you can stalemate somebody. Obviously, like let's say his pawn was on h5 here and his king is on h7. Do you see the trick? If you queen in that position, it's stalemate. So the trick is just to be aware of that pattern and get like a rook or something. But in this case, he didn't have that option because I was always queening with check. So as far as the educational thing we can pull out, yeah, let me know on Twitter, by the way, if you guys would appreciate more advice. I think the bullet brawls are a ton of fun. And you guys all know that once we get going, it's going to get inappropriate. It's going to get awkward. It's going to be something that, you're afraid that your kids are watching. That's okay. We're all here to be fun. Just, put the Cheetos away for a second. But I also want to make sure that you guys feel like you're getting the most out of your experience here, especially since I told people to quit their jobs to watch the show today. Not sure what I was thinking there. Hope that doesn't make me liable for anything. Anyway, this is a dragon, a 9 castles long dragon. D5 is a principled way to open the center. This is all theory. Personally, I think both knight takes c3 and e5 from a practical perspective give black a little more chances. This is okay. Although often these days, I think queen to c7, rook to b8 is even a weird move. In some cases, you don't worry about the pawn. Queen b6 is okay, but white has a very clear positional goal. I want to gain a tempo and put this knight on c5. What's the evaluation here? The evaluation is white's just slightly better. Nothing spectacular, but it is a good lesson for Sicilian players to understand that in most middle games, you feel like, you're on cloud 9. Like, how could I ever go wrong in a dragon? I'm always going to get a good attack. But if the pieces come off the board, you're almost always positionally worse because of the pawns you've advanced and because of white's potential majority, the 3-on-2. Combine that with the outpost square and the dark squares, and, white's a little better in these endgames. So there you go. That's game numero uno. I had these analysis boards open in case, we get into the educational mode. We got so many people here, not enough time. So many people here, not quite enough time, It's like, oh, right. All right, we got KB24 Goat. That's a player from Twitter. Welcome here. Now I'm going to play d4, but we're going to play a traditional queen's pawn game, which I actually played d4 until I was... Ooh, so he plays something weird. Let's see. I'll play d5. I played d4 until I was about 2300. So for probably the majority... No, not anymore. I'm 30 now. Gosh, I'm getting old. For a large majority of my chess career, I was a d4 player, not an e4 player. So even though I've been known to play the Scotch and whatever, the d4 openings were always my gig for a very, very long time. Let's prevent his knight from coming into g4 so that e5 might get a little better. Yeah, let's do it now. Let's play e5. It's the common break in the Benoni. I'm not sure my move order was good earlier, but okay. Often what happens here is can be really dangerous for black, especially if they have tactics on f7. Like what I want to do here is play d6 and then bishop f7 and then knight in, and that's kind of getting real wild, but probably unnecessary. So I'll just play here. Though if he takes it, I think I'm not going to take back. I think I was going to play knight g5. Would have been a weird intermezzo. So now we have this move, d6. Sacrifice the pawn to open up the diagonal and use it with cruel intentions. Should I take and then give a discovered check? Am I winning there? Or do I just play knight g5 right away? Both are probably good. For some reason, I'm going to go with this. I don't know why. He's going to take, and I'm going to take back with the knight so I can keep my rook on f7. He gives check, but I'll trade. Same difference. Same difference. Although, you know what he actually had there? He actually had bishop e5 check, and if I went back and forth, was that a draw? Wow. I think I might have just blundered into that. That could have been a real problem for me if I wasn't careful. Check. Okay, he didn't see that. What happened? I think I blundered that. Look at that. Matt, I think it might be a good time to remind of the bug that if you start clicking on the notation arrows, that window in the middle of the board should disappear. I think it's something we requested too early when there were other critical things going on in the v3 transfer. But that's a bug. Maybe you could report a ticket on that, buddy. In this position, if he had played bishop e5 check, if I play king h1, he has knight g3. And if I go back to g1, then he plays bishop d4 check. You know how I think I get out of it is some like super risky move like g3 where it looks like I'm about to get Chekalina Lashlamba, right? And if he takes it, I play king here, but now his bishop no longer has checks on this diagonal. Creative way to get out of it. Rather risky, but creative, I guess. You guys want to bet I could finish this gallon at the end of the Bull Brawl? What, you don't think I can do it? Don't tell me what I can't do, John Locke. Don't tell me what I can't do. All right, we got GM Worst Night from the Twitch chat. We got challengers like Burn Hubcom and Tal Statistician. You know what I think of course, when you say Tal Statistician. Oh, did I just enter? Did we just enter the dragon? Are we in the Tal Dragon? They're sitting here thinking, Danny, why are you messing around?
What are you waiting for?
I don't know. I'm just talking.
What are you waiting for?
Keep playing?
What are you waiting for?
You want me to keep playing? All right,
What are you waiting for?
I'll do it. Ah! Don't yell at everybody, Shia. You know? Everyone's here just to have a good time, homie. All right. Actually, we're here to learn, and we have been learning, right? If anybody missed my tips on how to get better at Blitz and Bullet or how to make them valuable, you can back up to the beginning of the show or look for that highlight, which we will put on YouTube or Twitch. It's a little bit of a different type of highlight, a lot of talking, but I think it might be valuable for those interested. So taking c6 is usually not the right idea in these Sicilians because it brings pawns into the center formation that usually that can only help black consider he's given up a pawn earlier, potentially increasing white's attacks on the light squares or like knight d5 moves and positions. So this is a happy time. This is a happy time for black, and it's getting happier. It's like the most wonderful time of the year, right? When knights they are hanging and bishops are saying, let's have some good cheer. It's the most checkmateable time of the year. Ooh, that's nice. We still haven't rang the bell yet, have we? Maybe now's the time. Ringing the bell? We ring in the bell. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. All right, thank you, Cools. Cools on 007. So what happened here? So you started out with a Sicilian, and I hope that everybody in today's Bullet Brawl is taking my advice. That if I'm giving you advice here, I'm assuming it's an opening that you play regularly. So we have an open Sicilian. This is fine. And bishop to d3 is where we would first sort of start giving criticism, right? The bishop on d3 makes everybody feel warm and cozy who's just thinking about let's get developed and put my piece on a solid square, but not somebody who understands kind of the bigger picture goals of the Sicilian. The bishop is better on almost every other square, including c4, e2, yes, and f1, okay? If you're playing some sort of Yugoslav attack, the bishop doesn't need to develop, which is why it's better on f1, sort of, addition by subtraction, because your goal is to get castled long and to do the attack, and wait until a clear moment has come to develop that bishop to c4 or something else. If you're playing a traditional get the king on the king's side, bishop e2 is more natural for two reasons. One, you leave the queen open, which is actually an important defender of the center, and in many cases, moving this knight so that your queen and knight work together on this square is also critical. So that's the other reason. And if you're playing like a Sozin, well, then the bishop goes to c4 because it's just a more active diagonal. It's not that common to put the bishop on c4 this early in a dragon, but it is still better than bishop on d3. So the bishop on d3, just not a huge fan of that. And that might be a good lesson for you. If you were playing too fast and you normally don't play that, well, then what are you doing? Shame on you. You're playing the anti-way we're trying to play today. So you bring the bishops to d3 and e3. Arguably, I already have knight to g4, which is something white is always should be wary of in a dragon, because as soon as this knight can come here safely and hit this bishop is sort of like a, an anchor holding a lot of white's position together, right? Guards the knight. You need this bishop for later on dark square attacks, so probably not that great either. So those two bishops being there, a little bit counterintuitive. And finally, when you take on c6, it just shows, I don't know that you were really knowing the opening, or you were trying to just play too fast, because this trade almost always favors black without some sort of concrete reason for white. Like after takes, sometimes there's tactics with e5 where you sack the pawn positionally to really open up some weaknesses. But other than that, taking on c6 is almost always a no bueno. And I win some material partly due to the bad tactics you had. Of course, queen takes e3 was bad, but for the record, even f takes e3 walks into queen a5, and you're probably losing very quickly anyway. Okay, so we play again. I really want to play a title player today. I'm just feeling frisky with my new mouse. I haven't experienced any horrible dragging or getting awkwardly stuck. So... And if you're watching this on YouTube, try to watch it live too, right? I mean, we've been asking you guys to subscribe, so Shia would want to know.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, why not subscribe?
What are you waiting for?
You should subscribe.
What are you waiting for?
Exactly. Thanks,
What
Shia.
are you waiting for?
That's right. All right. Here we go. Next game. Moscala. Is that a picture of Frodo, Sam and Frodo just going to town there? What was that? What's going on there? I don't know. Let's play a Catalan. A Catalan with no early d4 for white. Okay, so this guy knows what he's doing. I can tell both by how quickly he's playing, and I'm going to go there. I want to play... Ooh, I thought I would get some compensation if he took it, but okay. I'm going to relocate the bishop because I really want c5. I'm relocating so I can get c5. This is my goal, everybody, so that you understand the motivations behind the man. If I take, that could be an issue. Plus b7's under fire. What's going on here? I don't know. I think I'm worse, so I'm going to play solidly. Trying to play solid chess moves today. We'll go there first. We will go there first, and then maybe even play for c5 if he had let us. But now I'm actually happy, because this opposite code bishop position is going to favor black. Not by much, but a little bit. Double pawns for white. I think I have the slightly better chance, slightly more active bishop. I'd like to get d4 at some point if I could. Ooh, maybe I can do it now. Takes and d4. I don't have a ton of time. Remember, it is bullet, so I have to remember that. I can't just be sitting here trying to play good moves, too. Now it's time to win, right? Now it's time to go for the gold. Chekaruski, pre-move taking here. Maybe gobble up that e5 pawn if he lets us. Yeah, we'll just take it. If he takes, we can take with the bishop. Pre-move here to a dark square where he has no ability. I love pre-moving in bishop positions because the dark squares are not... It's not possible for him to gang up on the dark squares because he's lacking that bishop, so it just makes it so easy to move forward confidently. Let's trade queens, and then he has to go bishop b1 to guard a2. He misses it, so now we queen, we come back, we bring the bishop up. Dark square pre-moves are my favorito. They always have been. Boom. You can ring my bell, ring my bell. I need to just, if it wasn't against like copyrights, I would just have like a button that just like press. Who's the girl that sings that song? Ring my bell. Ring my, right? If I could, I would do that. But just so you know, you have to be really careful, right? You can have somebody totally butcher the song, and you're not breaking copyrights like this guy. But you can't just you can't. But that's two checkmates in a row. Okay, that's two checkmates in a row. Scotium 2 says he bet he can beat me using the Philidor. They know I'm a sucker for trash talk. All right, buddy, use the Philidor on me. You do what you got to do, man. Wait, is this actually the Philidor, or is this... we'll play this way. We'll see how you like this. Aha, he likes the bad lines. I love when people like to play bad, awkward, passive positions. It's my favorite thing that people do against me. We'll do this. Although he's fast. I think I've played him before, and I think Scotium can be pretty fast, so that's something I do have to watch out for. Now, what I'd like to do is actually bring this knight in here. He kind of made it a little easier with that. Let's take. If he takes with the knight, we're playing f4. If he takes with the pawn, we're heading into d6. And I think there are problemos for black. Are they serious problemos? Maybe not, but I'm going to keep that bishop there. That's got to be fun, right? Keep the bishop on that diagonal. He's just going to go win that pawn. Hashtag greed. Hashtag I love it. Way to go, man. Way to be greedy. Go get that pawn. I agree with you. Don't mess around, right? Oh, we're playing 1-1. Wow, I just realized that. Okay, we have 1-1 on the table, which means good moves are at even a higher premium. And what I've played is exactly what I would do in a real game. So the question is now, is there some sort of nastiness I can do? Sacrificing the exchange? It feels like I should go for it. I'm going to go for it. I don't know. Can he do that? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Where's my win? Where's my win? He's going to beat me. He's going to put his money where his mouth is, I bet. I think he might. Although I'm having more and more trouble seeing how he gets out of this situation now. He takes there, which I'm going to take. So I guess he gets out of it, kind of. Oh, wait. He gets out of it right now because of my time on the tickety. This is so crazy. This is so crazy. Time. Take back. Man, not the best play. Probably for either of us at this point. I definitely messed this up. He's deserved. He has played exceptionally well. And now what we have to remember is that there isn't a lot of time for anybody. Is it just a draw now? Would seem likely. I'm trying to win, even though I have absolutely no right to try. I have absolutely no grounds to try to win in an endgame where I'm down a significant amount of material. I guess we'll just go for the draw. Not my favorite thing to do. But he deserves the draw. Whoa! He doesn't deserve the draw because he doesn't know his king and pawn endings. You gotta know your king and pawn endings, bro. Brosef. Brochach. Brohemian. Brobraham Lincoln. Brosef Geller. Brolish. Did I already say Brobraham Lincoln? Brobraham Lincoln, Brosef Geller, Brohomian. Oh, he's not happy. He's not happy. And he shouldn't be happy. He's furious right now. But okay, you know what? I would feel bad if it wasn't for one thing. You're the one who talked trash and said you would beat me. Not this guy. Okay. But okay, what happened went wrong when I was just totally better at the opening? So, keeping with the theme of let's learn something from every game, always play the openings that you play. Scothium2 said he beat me in a Philidor, which means he must play the Philidor. So, the early e5 lines are sometimes irritating, but if you play knight f3 and they take here, then you get the really sharp positions where you should develop the bishop to f4 and get castled long. He wasn't interested in that. He wants the closed stuff, which, excuse me, makes sense. And, you know, what we did here is kind of a typical approach. Sometimes I bring the bishop to e2 rather than c4. Okay, you're not going to get the kind of tactics I got in the game, which I think from a practical perspective is where I really went wrong because I spent a lot of time trying to justify those tactics. But a4 is played with a specific idea in mind, of course. I'm trying to be preemptively putting a stop to what his natural plan is going to be. Black is forever trying to avoid taking this pawn because most of the time you get this situation where the, white gets the 4-on-3 and, the space kind of favors black. But okay, if black can take here in a timely way and get quick access to c5 or e5, that is something you should think about in this common opening. But this is all kind of normal stuff. Bishop g5. I mean, right now I'm just sort of playing regular. Maybe there's some slightly better moves earlier. One thing I'm always looking to do is kind of the attack I did in the game, which when he played knight b6 and knight d7, I thought I should have some better way to get it than I did, but I didn't see anything here. One thing black has to be careful of is normally, of course, like two pieces for the rook should favor black. But if there's some let's just say there's some transition happens like this that I'm not saying is good or not. But if I go for a line like this and I get here, and like if there was some way that the endgame quickly opened up where the d file is actually holdable for white, and you get ideas like this, sometimes the rook and the pawn can take advantage of just the lack of coordination in black's setup. Normally, of course, though, you would think that the pieces favor being able to outplay the rook, but I'm only saying that because as we're sitting here, that was definitely a line I was calculating whether or not I should do that. But in the end, we decided not to, and I wanted to go for something like this. I think it makes sense. D takes e5 might have been premature. Maybe that was my mistake. In fact, the more I look at this position with the awkwardness of the king, are we looking at some sham mockery? Are there some shenanigans? Some tomfoolery? Some ballyhoo? Look at this, right? He's got to go to f8, and now not only can I take here, I also have this move, right? Saying, here we come, Papa Bear. If he goes here, we take, and take. We got some pins. This is like one of those positions where if you've seen the tactics before, if I've played this before, I might have more confidence in the patterns, right? It's hard to sack a piece if you haven't done it in a way where you're kind of like maybe some people look at this position, they just know this is just totally winning for white because of lack of development and the light squares or whatever. I wasn't sure, but it looks like that could have been a ton of funsies. I'll say that. In fact, on that note, it makes me feel like f4 right away must have been stronger than I gave it credit for. If f4 takes right away, now, bam, slam, also forcing this, jam, cram, this is already better. I'm threatening rook takes f6, taking advantage of the pin, along with 1.5 million other things. So, for Scotium, who I understand that this game became a massive time scramble, and you almost had a chance. Is that from? Let me know if it's from Twitch or from Chess TV. Always, Matt. The time scramble and the fact that, it got misplayed later on, shouldn't mislead you to the fact that something went wrong for you. This solid Philidor is solid. White's a little bit better because you have less space, but a position with less space, if you start putting pieces on bad squares, that's where tactics happens. You have to be careful here. And I'm guessing that if I had played f4 or some of these other moves, I would have been able to punish both your lack of development and this. Intuitively, I feel like I'm all over it. And even this, if you take here, I'll take with the rook, because this transition, should also be fine. Now I have the majority I need. This might have been your best chance, actually. Maybe you can play bishop e6 and stuff. So okay, if you had taken d4, probably it's still fine. It makes me wonder if I should be more concrete doing this. Hold the phone. What if I go here? If you play this, can I take? Pawns are pinned here, people. He plays this, and I say, oh, right, like I really care, right? And you're like, what's going on here? I'm like, I have 3 attackers right here on your king, right? I got 3, love. I got bishop here, queen here, knight here. It's like everyone's coming together on your time. If he takes it, I take it. Game over. I like that. I think this position was more ripe for tactics than I recognized. And I'm saying this not to rub it in. I'm saying this for you to learn the lesson of let's try to get better with every bullet game. I would highly recommend you spend some time figuring out where that went wrong for you. That would help your future chess games, especially if you are indeed a Philidor player. So taking e5 was bad. And now I go for kind of this superficial attack, which is just not getting anything. And that allowed you to start simplifying. But did I still feel like I should have had something here? Yes, I'll admit I did. I mean, oh my god, I did. Look how obvious this is. Duh, I should just take. Take and take. If you take with the queen, I win immediately. If you take with the king, double attack, Holmes. That's French for you're busted. Boom. So I was still winning, and my intuition that the d-file and the pressure here should have been enough was correct. I spent a lot of time here, and I didn't quite deliver the goods. So here, right here, misplaying that was where I think I finally let the game slip away. And, it crossed that line to being educational and more of kind of a co-blunderfest by the both of us. And Queen f6 was a strong move, though, I think. Look at that move. It feels nice, right? How often do you see a move like Queen f6 being played? I'm going directly into the heart of darkness here, right? Right, I'm going directly into the heart of darkness and threatening rook d8. And if he takes, I take, and there's not really anything I think he actually found the best move with bishop takes h3, amazingly. I think it's the best move, because I'm threatening rook d8, bishop d7 would get mated, right? Bishop e6 doesn't help anybody's cause. So this was a really interesting game. This might be the game of the day. I'd give you a premium membership, but you're already a diamond member, so not much to say besides Scotium. Salute you, sir. Good game. Interesting stuff. Instructive for all. How's everybody doing? Let me know on Twitter. I say make some. You say noise. Make some. Okay, we got some other questions. We have a question from Twitch chat. Someone says, Danny, have you ever blundered in an equal game due to time pressure issues? That's like asking, does the Pope go number 2 in the woods? Just kidding, right? Is the bear Catholic, right? Okay. The answer is yes to both of those questions, and the answer, of course, to the third question is obviously yes. Of course, I've had time pressure issues over the board. I mean, that's how people lose chess games. Time is a part of the game. Where you start making progress, whoever asked that question, is when you stop denying 2 key points. You stop saying to yourself you lost only because of time pressure. Either the fact you got under time pressure represents poor time management or a lack of understanding from the other positions, or obviously you wouldn't have had to take that time, okay? And number 2, you stop denying the fact that when you do lose games, it was only because of that one blunder, but almost always the few moves that preceded a blunder are usually also inaccuracies, if not blunder mistakes themselves. And that's when you really start making progress. So now we're going to take on GM Worst Night, who's from, I think, Twitch and from Twitter. GM Worst Night, welcome to the show. You have a Magnus Carlsen picture, right? That I hope that's good. I have not blocked anybody, Jim Beatty. I do not block members on chess.com. Although if you've done behavior that has you to be blocked from any member, shame on you. Okay, so he plays d3 in there. Again, sticking with, let's play something I would play in a normal game. I'm going to play c5. We'll talk about why after the game, because we're learning. We're learning together. We're like birds of a feather. We stick together. I'm talking about the Sister Act version, right? Like birds of a feather, we stick together. I've been telling you from the start, I can't be torn apart from my guy. Okay, well, this is getting bad. I don't know that GM Worst Night actually played what he would normally play in an opening, unfortunately. So we will give a little bit of advice on why I approached it the way I did for those who want to learn something from that. But here White's just much worse and down a pawn, and it's no good, right? I'm gonna play bishop here. I've got a 2-on-1 over here, and there's nothing to it. I'm gonna take here, right? Bring it back, right? Put the pieces on safe squares. Thank you, Karpov. All right. So GM Worst Night. The reason I approached this the way I did, whenever you're facing an unorthodox opening, I've given the advice to people that if you don't have a repertoire yet, stretch down. If you don't have a repertoire yet worked out against like knight f3 and c4 and some of the unorthodox stuff, try to rely on the structures you're familiar with from the openings you do have a repertoire worked out, whether that's the Sicilian or, a King's Indian against d4. And so think about that as the moves are played. Don't just go into my opponent played something I don't know. Let me develop and get castled and then I'll figure out a plan. You're all guilty of that. Like, stop playing chess that way. Think, what positions am I familiar with, and try to get it right away. He says he didn't mean to play d3. I'm sorry, buddy. I've been the victim of a mouse slip too. So I'm sorry. I'm not criticizing you here. I'm actually giving general advice. So as you think about those things, when you just don't know anything against knight f3, d3, c4, they'll help. But even as you start to get good, you should always be thinking about what your goal is, what kind of position you want to get in the middle game. Now, because I know a lot of openings, because I'm a strong chess player, like, I can do a number of things here. Like, I can play g6, e6, c, whatever. But the point is, like, I play a move that's kind of flexible in terms of how I'm committing the center pawns. I might still go for g6, like Sicilian Dragon, something I play, or a good extended King's Indian, also an opening I've played. I might play e6 and b6, which could go into like a hedgehog, like a Queen's Indian. So I'm thinking about that. So c5 is a very flexible move. And even if he plays probably the most challenging direct central move, like almost a Sicilian, well, again, c5, a Sicilian is what I play. I haven't gotten myself in any position that I wouldn't know. What would be an example of not doing that? Well, like, let's say you're not a Queen's Gambit player and someone plays this and you decide, well, he's just giving me the center, I'll play d5. Right? And then maybe they transpose into something that ends up looking kind of like a weird hybrid Catalan or something, and now you're in a structure you have no idea what you're doing in. So yes, as you get better and improve your technical knowledge, the matrix of knowledge sitting in that Neo head of yours, your ability to not screw up the opening gets better. But as long as you're still at the stage where you can screw it up regularly, that's my advice. Think about things before you develop. You want to develop plans, not pieces, okay? The amateur develops pieces. The master develops plans. Pieces are a part of plans. You read between the lines there. You see that? I just made that up. Let's quote that. I think that let's quote that. I don't know. I might have said something smart. Anybody else think I said so? No? Okay, get back to work. Okay, thanks. I'll do that. Thanks, guys. Okay. We got lots of other tweeters here. That sounds you hear, and it's like a ding. It's like Twitter, all right? And no, I don't want to hear the complaint. I love the guy who gets so angry at a show because, like, every once in a while there's, like, a random ding. Like, turn it off. I'm so annoyed right now with the quality of your program. It's like, okay, dude, really? I mean, I'm talking a mile a minute, all right? I will turn it down, though, because I don't want the Twitch noise to bother people. I just don't like it when people get really irritated over small things. It's like, there are like 5 things in life that probably make me angry. You know, let's focus on that. Let's focus on not getting angry over little things, shall we? That might be good for all of us. All right, we got unpin. We got question. Biggest difference between 2000 bullet and under 2000 and bullet from Andy Vaughn on Twitter. That's a Fantismo question. Did you watch the beginning of the show, Andy? Did you hear some of those tips? Some of those tips are the biggest difference right there. Okay. Let's see. We got the normal people tweeting at us. F Son Nicholas. We got Zari's Paranama. We got we got what's his name? I forget. Nimzo B Boy 2 or something. I forget. I can't pronounce your name, and I'm not gonna try, homie. All right, let's take on F Son Nicholas. He's a big fan of the show. I try not to play too many repeaters, but hey, we want to keep everybody happy. Let's do it. Let's do it. Should I take the risk that we will have a bullet simul here today? Will it change? Will it change? Maybe I'll get a couple of 1-1-1 games going and see if I can take the risk for the legendary bullet simul. We will play the Dragon. I feel like when you say Dragon, you always have to stop and say it in the Dragon voice. It's like watching a Peter Jackson movie. Everyone's talking normally, and then they say Smaug, and they're talking normally, and just in the middle of it, someone goes Smaug, and you're like, wait, what? Did you just like? Are you okay? Is something going on there? Smaug, right? It's like Peter Jackson. Get over yourself. Get over yourself, PJ. This is not working out super well for F Son Nicholas because he's sort of he stepped off the beaten path. Whereas when you play dragons, stepping off the beaten path is never a Sam Adams because the opening itself is so sharp. It's not very forgiving of you forgetting your opening theory. There are some openings that are a little more forgiving. Right? Hashtag London defense. No, just kidding. There was a guy on Reddit the other day who had like a whole thread about why are people hating on the London defense. It's a good point. I mean, I think sometimes people hate on things for whatever, but the London defense, of course, is totally solid. It's just that it doesn't challenge you to play positions, I think, outside of the same structure over and over, which can be slightly, it can be hindering to your overall development. But, all right, you played the right dragon here, dude, and the problem is, castle's long d5, this is all main theory. In fact, if you were here at the beginning of the show, I think the first game of the show today was this one. You can't play e5. You can almost never play e5. Pro tip, even if you took here and played e5, I still wouldn't think it's a good move because you strengthen my center, and the only way to protect this pawn is to play f4, which what does that do? Well, it takes away your whole traditional Yugoslav attack plan. So e5 is just, it's not a move that's happening here very commonly, okay? Takes d5 is fine. King to b1 is a move, right? Magnus played that once. Queen e1's a move. Of course, the main line takes here. Gives you now 3 options. As white, you can take here. You can play bishop d4. They're all very sharp, but you got to know what you're doing. Because, again, some openings are less forgiving than others, okay? And as you're learning opening theory, just, be careful. That's all. So you played e5, and well, let's back up. And okay, did you have to blunder other things after that? Not really. And you might say, well, isn't b5 Danny going back into his old habits of I'm just going to beat this guy with nonsensical moves, going away from what I said at the beginning of the show, which is that I am going to try to play the best move, I think, in every position. No more BS bullet, as we call it. If you're a kid out there watching the show, BS stands for Big Santa. Big Santa is a guy that is a phenomenal guy. He's a guy that delivers presents. So if you ever hear Danny say BS on a bullet brawl, it stands for Big Santa, a bullet. There you go. So I'm not just going back into what I said before the show. B5 is a move that in a lot of dragons is a good point to remember because I was actually going over games for kids at the Nationals like 4 days ago. And a lot of kids play A6 and then B5 in these modern dragons, because it seems to make sense. But you have to realize that in the dragon, you are so under the gun in this race position that almost always a small amount of material in exchange for open lines is better than a slowly prepared minority attack. Yeah, was I a little careless? Like, is it the best move? I don't know. But Knight C4 is already good, but I'm already winning here, right? But B5 is very commonly a good dragon move because I'm saying if you're going to take the pawn, you're opening up lines. Often it's better for black to do this than to slowly prepare it, and there you go. I'm out of breath. By the way, have I stopped talking for this entire time? What's going on here? Is this like an Ace Ventura thing? Right? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? I haven't stopped talking forever. These guys are like, what is going on? He must be on something. I'm not on something. I just love life. I love chess. I'm one of the most fortunate people I know. Gets to do what I do. Most of the time I don't do this. There are things, of course, about my job I don't like, right? Eric, no, I'm kidding. He loves that we have a playful banter. Uh, Actually, it wouldn't be a good environment if he and I weren't. We disagree probably in like average like 10 emails a day, but you know, you always get the other side of it. All right, let's take on Jimmy Beatty because he was worried I had blocked him via Twitter. Let's prove to him that I had not. The reason why you get stuck is because I'm currently getting spammed with challenges. So in order to prevent someone's server from crashing client side, if you're a developer, you understand the tech I'm talking about. You know, we've put a limit on the amount of challenges that someone can receive client side. The challenges you're sending are actually still going into our server on chess.com. That was a mouse slip. I meant to play F4. Okay, this is going to be a weird one. Not going to get a lot of theory out of this, but I'm still going to do my best. If you send a challenge to me, or let's say if like a Carlos playing a simul and it sometimes doesn't go through, it does exist on the server side, but in order to prevent people's browsers from crashing, we've developed some tech that prevents my browser from getting spammed with challenges so that the whole live chess doesn't crash on me. So there you go. There's a little tech lingo. Those are some things we do, right? What? Danny speaking tech, client side, server side. He understands these things. There's something wrong with him. There is something wrong with me. It just has nothing to do with that. I did just win a pawn, not the exchange. He allowed f5 probably and kind of, you know, carelessly let that be a little bit better than it should have been in a normal Scheveningen type structure. Here I feel like there's tactics, but I don't see it. So let's just back up the pony. Maybe I'll put the knight on f5 here at some point. Let's be careful. We are up a pawn, so let's play solid simplification chess. Put the knight on d5. If he takes it, we get the e6 square. Ooh, he did it. We like that. We're going to play knight e6 check. We're not really worried about back rank issues. We're not really worried about back rank issues here, but he is playing well, exceptionally well, actually. So I'm going to continue to also try to play exceptionally well. Now I have to take it. I'm going to try to play for c4 if I can get it in some positions. He might go for this. I thought he might go for this. And now, do I want to go into the queen ending? It's possible. I can play bishop d3. If he takes, I'll probably play a little tickle. He didn't take it. So now I'll just play c4. Now I'm going to be up a pawn in the endgame. Should be winning. Probably one of the better, closer games so far from Jimmy Beatty. So again, Matt, the bug I was referring to, I should be able to click here and this should go away. That's just a small improvement to our new user interface that would help. Okay, so what happened here? As I was talking about things, we played a knight off Sicilian. He played the knight g4 line, and then I transposed into the traditional main line. You know, not really my cup of tea, to be honest. But of course, I play these positions for both sides. A lot of times when someone repeats, I'll do a couple things. I'll just play f3 or h3 and kind of throw them out of that line. Or play, you know, I play the main line a lot, which is just, of course, bishop e3, and on knight g4, you play bishop g5. This line goes like this, and, you know, it's totally a dynamic way to play. I think it's playable for both sides. Obviously, black has some risk in terms of how he's overextended the king side, but white is up a little bit of time. Black's going to have to deal with the knight here, and I'm not going to go into all the theory there, but totally playable. Playing bishop g5 might have not been my best decision given how I normally play the Najdorf. f4 is the most common move here. Queen d2 is playable, but not what I did. This was the first game where you can mark it up to Danny not doing what he said he would do from the beginning. I just kind of spaced out here. I mean, bishop takes f6. Giving up the bishop here without getting the double pawns doesn't make any sense in this structure. Honestly, f4 is also the better move because in most of these lines, the queen wants to come to f3. So, you know, my apologies. This, you know, I've only had one slip so far, right? We played 10 games. So this was just bad chess. And then I followed it up with a mouse slip. That was an accident. I meant to play f4. But okay, I think that Jimmy backing up queen d8 was also a little unnecessary. Honestly, I don't know why he has to play queen d8, especially after f3. I think just b5, play like a Najdorf, right? Knight to d7. Your queen isn't going anywhere on f6. I'm not attacking it. I think she's actually kind of powerful. In some of these positions, little pro tip for the future, you could even consider g5. You get this grip on the dark squares, and then you can play bishop to g7 immediately, and you've got almost like kind of like a hybrid dragon, right? You played a Najdorf structure, which means you're accelerating the minority attack faster than normal, and the bishop is going to be dangerous here. This is a really uncommon type of position because it basically occurred via bad openings by me followed by mouse slip. But it doesn't mean that it can't be beneficial to you to think, I think what you did here is what a lot of people do. Like, the position got weird and you didn't know what you were doing, and so you tried to go back to something you were familiar with. Let me know on Twitter if I'm right. I'm sure that was the subconscious thought. You're like, all right, well, let me get the queen here, right? But that time is lost and unnecessary. You have to remember the bigger picture goals of your position, and then remember the moves you learn, guys. Everybody listening, the moves you learn in opening books or opening sport or chess base or any sort of database you have, there's so many great products like New in Chess, anything you learn from openings. The goals are at the top of the period. The moves are just like the reflection of how you achieve those goals. So if someone plays a bad move, you need to ask yourself if those goals can be attained in a different way. That's a philosophical way of putting it, to say, don't play like a robot and go for the queen c7 line just because that time lost allowed the game to become much more unclear again. Okay? So that's some advice I'm going to give to you. We have about a couple more minutes. This has been a really non-stop, fast-paced bullet brawl. There's so many people left challenging me. I'm gonna have to go the direction of, hey, it's not gonna happen for some of you because we only have a couple minutes left. And I'm gonna cut down on the amount of analysis and just go back into just having fun. Let's see how many people can get a game. We're gonna take on Bullet Me, who just tweeted at me his username. I'm sure there were others who tweeted at me before that. But we're gonna do that. Maybe we'll get, if we get some 1-1 challenges, maybe we'll try to get a Bullet Simul. Problem is, I'm also very competitive, and I don't like losing. So playing the Bullet Simul, if I don't know that auto switch works yet, makes me very scared. Because I don't want to lose. Let's go after the bishop here. Okay, we'll just take it. We'll play e5, changing the structure, making it a little bit different than he might normally face in the London. And unfortunately, he's addicted to. He's a slave. He's a slave. The master is a slave to his own worst enemy here, because he's trying to do the same ideas, not realizing that the position had changed significantly. So we'll go for this, and it's just too many pieces are going to fall. Too many pieces, not enough time. Hashtag story of my life. Bishop h6 check was a bad move, okay, but I'll go back. It was just whatever, a little bit of a waste. If he plays king to c2, I'll probably just play rook to d8. He just doesn't have enough time here. And wait, is there a checkmate coming? There might be a checkmate coming if I'm not careful. Very sneaky by him. Very, very sneaky, huh? Very, very sneaky. But not enough pieces, unfortunately, for him to get the desired mate trick that he wanted. I respect the effort. Hashtag respect from Bullet Me. Let's put this knight on c4 and go for a little mating net of our own, shall we? I think so. Let's see if he sees that I'm threatening knight e3 followed by rook d1 mate. Hashtag Anastasia's mate. Hashtag Arabian mate. It's actually neither Anastasia's or Arabian, but I don't really know my mates. I just know the patterns. You'd think I should know the names, right? But I don't. I think he did see it. He saw what was coming, so he's trying to get out, but unfortunately it may not matter because I still have managed to create this mating net here. Okay. I don't get checkmate in the way I wanted, but I may get checkmate in a way that we didn't think would happen. Okay. Hoping for the bell ring. Couldn't do it. Bullet Me, thanks for playing, buddy. Sorry I'm not going to spend time going over the game. We only have time for a couple more, so we'll take on Bad Habit Marco. That sounds like a character they killed off in the first season of Breaking Bad, right? You were Bad Habit Marco, that guy who everyone knew right from the first time he entered. Like, oh, I blundered again. I always blunder into this line. He gains a tempo. He gains a tempo because I blundered into this line. Bad Habit Marco is like, yeah, gotcha, buddy. Is that was a bad idea. I don't think you're getting compensation for that, Queen Sack, homie. That might have been, might have been having a flashback to that first season of Breaking Bad where they wrote you out, right? And then you broke something in your trailer because your agent promised you'd make it to season 2. Well, that's what happens in Hollywood, right? They chew you up and spit you out. Don't trust them. Broken promises all the time, right? I don't know where I'm at right now with this tangent. Hopefully somebody's like, wow, let's get this guy some help. All right, let's take here, and then we'll bring the rook to g3. We're going to mate on g7 before he can say, Bob's your uncle. I blundered e5, should have played f4. That would have held the structure together and kept my goal intact. But I'm going to predict that we still get checkmate on g7 in this game. And that Bad Habit Marco is still waiting for his next casting call. Let's get the other rook involved, though. Open up the other A file. Just sack. Sack, take, get the other rook going here. knight here, right? And give a little check here. Wait a second, right? Let's squeeze in here. Go here. Where's a mate? I did predict mate on g7, didn't I? So I kind of have to deliver the goods on that. We'll see if I can do it. We'll see if I can deliver mate on g7. Forget winning. All right. Uno mas. We have one more game, one more challenger. Whoever tells me on Twitter why whoever tells me on Twitter why 6 was afraid to set. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's just take on Burnhubcom from Twitch. All right, dude, you're the last one. You're that guy with that creepy picture from 300. I think I've seen you before. Just so you know, abs like that don't exist, all right? It's called airbrush. Nobody's abs look like that. I know what you're going to say. No, I know a guy who works out all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Of course people look like that. I just don't look like that. All right, let's play c4 and play knight c3. A Scandinavian with a gambito mixed in there. Also known as I'm willingly choosing to have a lost position out of the opening. And I love that. I love when people willingly choose to have a lost position out of the opening. It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite. It's like, oh, what are some of your favorite things, Danny? I like it when people choose to have lost positions out of the opening. Oh, really? Right. I like that too. Oh, really? Right. We have so much in common. Danny, what are some of your favorite things? I like puppies. I like dragons. I like taming dragons. My favorite way to tame a dragon is to watch the movie and let someone else do the dangerous parts. Oh, really? Right. That's my favorite part too. Oh, really? So much in common here. So much in common about the fact that I'm about to blow this game. Is that what's happening? Could be. Papa Bear could be about to blow this game, everybody. But I have a trick that I don't think he'll see. I have a trick that I do not think he'll see, which is that while he goes after those pawns, he has abandoned his own 7th rank. He did see it somewhat, but probably it's enough for me to maintain a big town edge town. Because now I can go gobble up that A-pawn for freezies. For freezies. Faux freezies. Faux reezies. Faux freezies. Right? I don't like doing this. No one ever likes. But the fact that I get my king more active is actually huge for this endgame. It allows me to get the upper hand in advancing the B-pawn, which is going to be enough to win. Oops, I blundered the b6 pawn with check. That was an accident. I meant to go to c6. All right. A little bit of a sloppy ending, but a little bit of a good time to sign off. If you missed the beginning of the Bullet Brawl, back up to the beginning of the show, trying to make some things, to a little bit more educational. You're thinking, I don't want to go back to the beginning of the show. Well, you know what Shia thinks?
Do it!
What? What do you think they should do?
Do it!
You think they should go back and watch the beginning of the show?
Do it!
Okay, no, I hear you, buddy. I hear you, so thanks.
Do it!
All right, good talk, man. Anyway, so I don't know. I would listen to him, and I hope that everybody here had a fantastic time. Much love, peace, love, and happiness to all of you, and I gotta be out. I gotta take my kids to speech therapy. They're all standing outside the door, like, looking at Dad, like, what is he doing? Dad's being weird again, Mom. Anyway, good talk. See ya.